Five when I'm talking chill, we're back again for a new episode today. All right, my name is Brother Prince. I'm here with Haitian Mac and our Ukti, our sister Lamia. She's going to give us like a different perspective on the topic of today, and yeah, we are lucky to have her today with us.
Thank you.
All right, welcome to 509 Talk and Chill. Well, Haitians and 509 is the Haitian area code, right? So it's our identity. 509 is our identity, just in case you wanted to know what it means. So yeah, today, Brother Prince, what we're going to talk about today with our guest?
Today, the topic of choice. We're going to talk about religion, spirituality, and why people might feel atheists. Now, we want to bring also the concept of being agnostic, is that, you may not believe in religion, but you believe in a higher force. You believe that, something is there that has the power to create all that. But you don't necessarily, some people don't necessarily feel that they need to believe in Abrahamic religions or, any other religion. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, just have a conversation about it, and our experience and how you feel about, religion as a concept, as an ideology even,
Right. So now the topic is, you said, spirituality, religion, and atheism. So and I want to it's like, remember, it's like we're just having fun between friends, like we're talking about different stuff. But today I want to know what's our friends, our guests' opinion about our spirituality and religion and all that.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me here today. So this is quite a complex discussion. Obviously, people are fighting over religion and things today in the world, unfortunately.
100%.
But I always know and believe that before religion was spirituality, where people connected to the self, the essence, the stars, the earth, etc. In stillness, you find yourself. In a world of chaos and confusion, stillness is the key to thyself.
Amazing.
It's interesting because religion, obviously there's many religions, and I guess it all depends on what you follow. But there is a beauty in the Abrahamic religions, any religion. You can take a lot of good in terms of law and order and society itself. If you look around, the society we live in is pretty broken. Broken families, broken people on the streets, addiction. Religion has the most beautiful way of life if you are able to follow it the right way. But unfortunately today, religion has become a hate or a fear. A lot of people pray in fear rather than in love, when there should be unity and oneness.
I don't know how, in religion, light, we're supposed to have light when you have religion, and they don't seem to have light. Now, we don't need to always looking at this as, something that is causing problems, As me personally, I believe in Islam. I believe that it has allowed me to have a more balanced life. I haven't been drinking alcohol for many years. I haven't, even eaten pork for many years. I feel that he has, even when I'm checking some candies, I'm like, let me see if I can get that candy, and it has allowed me, to not get too attached to. I had a really massive sweet tooth, and that has actually helped me.
Do you think it's the religion that makes you change your habit, or it's just you? I mean, do we really need religion to know, like, what? There's certain things that I should not do, that I'm not allowed to do because it's not going to be good for my body. It's going to destroy my body.
I think because it's reinforced. I don't know how you feel, but because it's always reinforced. Don't do this. Don't do that. Now, it's up to you if you follow. But if it's allow you to have a better lifestyle, I think it's good guidance, good practice.
Yeah, but also when we speak on like spirituality, for example, all those things you talk about, like not drinking alcohol because it opens a portal for a spirit realm. Everything that's been told has been there for our guidance and for our goodness. And when you speak of the light, can you be more specific what you mean? Because a lot of people don't understand the concept of what light is.
So, all right. When you look at spirituality, I tend to think about the 42 laws of math. So that when you are getting into African cosmology, if you get into spirituality, you can start with the 42 laws of math. The 42 laws of math is, first of all, to understand who you are, to control your emotions. Now, when those Abrahamic religion came into existence, the idea was to bring light, to bring a truth. I don't want to say the truth, but to bring a truth to people so they can be enlightened, so they can be closer to God, the creator, or the idea of a creator. And we tend to think in all those books that when they went out there, they were supposed to, bring people together. But the way they did it, that where it becomes controversial because we're supposed to have a light. So the light is a truth, bring everybody together. But from bringing a message to how the message has been conveyed, that's where we have a problem with. How do I need to convince you, or just by looking at my actions, you want to be, religious, or what I'm saying? You want to be religious, you want to be, righteous according to, the holy books that they are presenting to us, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's what I think in terms of light.
Do you, Miss Lamia, do you believe in religion?
I believe in God. I have a religion, I do. So I do practice as much as I can my religion. I think having a faith today, especially in this chaotic world, is very important.
100%.
And again, there is balance again in any religion. If we do it in the right way, we get balance. Like my brother said there, like since he's been practicing, he's found a balance. And this is very true. I experienced the same thing a few years ago of finding a balance and not having that craving that sweet tooth and just doing good for your soul and for your mind as well. It's really important. So yeah, I definitely do.
I question a lot of things,
Yeah, yes.
I've questioned a lot of things in Judaism, Christianity, even Islam. I've questioned a lot of things. But I always come to the conclusion that if we come together, no matter our beliefs, it should bring us together. Yeah. That should be the message. But we're not together.
But do you think that unity you're talking about, we are going to have it through religion, or we just have to think that we are all equal, we are all the same, we are all looking for the same, we are looking for Savior, we are all looking for God, we are looking for hope? Do you think only religion can bring that, or
the day we will come back to this when everybody's going to be hungry? When everybody's going to be hungry, poor, and from the poor to the wealthy, right? We will have no choice but to be, together. I don't think that religion, because if it was religion, it would have happened a long time ago, right? You wouldn't need to kill, slay, force a religion upon someone, even if it's for your own good. I don't think that was the right way. But if you have like something in common, a common problem, like hunger, like war, you know what I'm saying? When war comes to your doorstep, believe me, even if your next neighbor is the most racist, but because we have a common enemy, you will no longer see the color of my skin. You will see that someone is my neighbor. We have to fight the enemy. We need to have a common problem to come together. That's where most people have understood. If you have flooding, suddenly we are together. If we have, fair enough, sometimes we pass people who are, on the streets and we don't necessarily give them food. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But if we are all hungry, believe me, that's what unity is going to come into.
I appreciate that. I appreciate what you say. But me personally, I don't believe in no religion. I stopped believing in religion because I've had
But did you stop believing in God though?
no, never.
Okay.
Because the God we are looking for, the God we're searching for is already in us. There's nothing that's gonna stop me believing in God. Right? But the reason why I stopped believing in religion and believing in those kind of stuff is for me it's a scam, because religion, first of all those religions are made, right? Is those religions are there to divide and conquer. Those same people, for example, I have Muslim friends, I have Catholic friends. I grew up in Adventism, for example, and I had conversation with all those people, and I realized something. The sorry, the religion you practice, what's it called? Islam.
Islam.
The Islamic people, they said, you know what? I don't believe in Jesus. I believe in God. Or they believe in Jesus, whatever they believe in. But I realized something. We are all looking or searching for the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Different religions. So I had pastors in my church telling me, "Oh, those people they won't go to church, they won't go to heaven because they are Islamic. Those people they are not going they're not going to heaven because they are Catholic." And that, when I asked that pastor, where is heaven? He said, somewhere up there. So those same people selling you heaven, they don't know where it is. So instead of preaching me love, patience, tolerance, you're telling me that my fellow human being is not going to heaven.
Yeah.
Because he's or she's practicing another religion.
Can I just say something to that? I just want to go back to my brother here, yeah, because it's like in my head, so I need to get this out. There's no way on this planet, if something happened and we're all starving, we're coming together, because everyone will become more selfish for their own needs.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, look at COVID, man. Come on, everyone was shutting their doors and I'm not helping, and I don't believe it will bring us together. What I believe that will bring everyone together is if we just accept one another and realise that our skin, our blood is all the same. That's the only time we're going to be like, you know what, you're my brother, she's my sister, Jew, Christian, whatever. Because we are all the same. It doesn't matter. And then at the end of the day, there can't be like 20 gods out there, really. Like, I do contemplate this a lot. You must only one creator, right? And then going back to the point of the heaven, I do believe heaven is within, because I've practiced my religion. At that time, when I was fully on my deen, I felt peace inside like I've never felt before. And I've never attained that from anything else in this world. It's almost like you let go and you give it to God, no matter what your worries are. It just, something washes over you. But that's an inner strength as well, to know that you can get through things. So I don't think we're separate from God. I think we're all in one, but religion has created so much fear in everyone. Oh, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. It's made people so scared. And every religion is, I'm better than your religion, I'm better than this religion. But actually, how do we know?
Yeah. I want to add something. Most people, they're serving God. It's not because they love God. It's just because the fear they install in them. Yeah. They tell them, you know what, if you don't serve God, you're going to hell. Ain't nobody want to go to hell. No. I don't want to go to hell.
No. That's what Peter Tosh said. He said in his one of his songs, he said, you know what, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody's ready to die. You know what I'm saying? If you know that you are going to be to heaven, but then
the pastor.
You know what I'm saying? So I like that song from Peter Tosh because he makes you reflect on what is heaven. Some people see heaven as having your family, having your kids growing up healthy and having a simple life. That's their heaven. They live their heaven here right now because they see their partner happy. They see they're happy. They may not have that much money, but that's not their ultimate goal. So, do you make your own heaven? Do you think that heaven is where the rivers are honey, and when you drink alcohol is something that is not intoxicating, and you have all those, I don't know, they say we have 72 women that are waiting for you. 72
Would you
women,
like that then?
72 women.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not?
I mean,
why not? King Solomon, he had 1,000 of them. Shit.
Solomon, how many?
Solomon had more than 1,000.
He has so many, but 72. I mean, apparently there's no jealousy, there's no anything that's evil has disappeared.
So it's greed, jealousy, envy, control, all of those emotions basically that most people go through today.
Which is interesting because the 42s of Matt tells you the first thing a child should know from a young age to control their emotions.
Okay.
When you control your emotion, you can communicate much easier because you're not going to be angry when you want to convey a message. You're going to be like, okay, you know what? I need that message to be understood.
At the same time,
to be controlling how I'm gonna.
At the same time, I'm sorry, but at the same time, sometimes you have to show a little bit of
yes,
anger.
I agree. Yeah.
Because
it's healthy to show emotion, actually.
But I got a question for you, though. Talking about the 72 women, right?
Man still on that.
So, now we were talking about religion. That's my point. The point I'm trying to make is religion tell us what to do, when to do it, and how to do it because we let them. So now, if I marry a woman, I have to stay with that same woman, only with that woman, right? Otherwise,
ideally, or you can have 4 wives.
And the eyes of the law, and the Western world, and the eyes of the law, it's a crime.
Which law?
The Western world.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a crime, right? And
no,
wait, let me finish. And you have the Catholic, you have the Protestants, you have the Adventists. They say you have to have one wife, right? If you have two, you're not going to heaven. Now, they have to tell me where is King Solomon right now? Where is that man? Because he had 1,000 wives, legally, like the one that people knew that were his wives, right? Plus the other ones like the side chicks, what we call side chicks. Now, where is that King Solomon? Because that same thing is in the Bible. How dare they to tell me not to have 1,000 wives?
Because
it's up to me not to have two.
I think the Mormons in the US are allowed to have more than one wife.
That's right.
I think it's the only one.
That's the thing. Why are they allowed to have it? It should be my choice to have them.
Okay, but then if we take it into logic and humans and take away the religion, it's in a man's biology to have more than one woman. And I don't advocate it, of course not, but it's biology as well. So sometimes we have to look at the biology of things and not just the religion or the spirituality because there was something that I read, I can't remember who it was by, but a man he's here to seed. Basically, that's what you're here for. So you need more than one to seed. And that's why, obviously, many years ago, they did have more than one wife. In Islam, you are allowed to have 4 wives, but you must treat every wife equally. So if you're going to buy her diamond ring, you've got to buy them all diamond rings. And that's it.
I understand that, but my point with all those religions telling me how many wives I can have is not right. Why do I need a religion to tell me how many wives I can have?
That's the time that we're living in. And also, remember that we are in a Judeo-Christian tradition. And what I've noticed is that we say Judeo-Christian tradition, and we omit to say Judeo-Christian and Islamic religion because Abrahamic religion does not exist without the three, because it's a trilogy. It's like a movie that you're watching, and the third one is the last one.
Carry on.
What I mean? So, by looking at this, we are in a Judeo-Christian tradition. It means that religion has had an impact on culture, and when you force, you know, an idea on people, they're always gonna have one wife. But for a very long time, that wasn't even a question. How many wives do you have? As long as they're looked after.
So we just admit that religion is there to control.
I would, I would never say the opposite, but there's control and guidance.
It depends on how you implement it into your life. For example, going back to the many wives, some tribes in Africa, farmers, they can't just have one wife. They need multiple to have multiple children to look after the land, the animals. So there was a logic behind it.
Yes.
It's just that we've become so westernized. It's become one woman, one husband, 2 kids, nice car, nice house. We don't have the traditions that our ancestors had. So this is why things have changed. When you say force, we can see it as 2 things: control, or we can see it as a benefit to our life. Now, if I had a farm, I don't want to do that farm on my own. I'm going to need a lot of family. So you accept the situation knowing it's your livelihood and it's your children's future.
Exactly.
So therefore there is a positive element to it. It depends on how you look at it.
And how you've been educated too as well. I'm sure if we were living in a different time, or if we were living in a different country, that culture made it the norm. People we would say, like, why are you fighting over this? Because when you guys are fighting over how many wives we have, we don't really care, because it's not part of our culture. We accept that. When it becomes the norm, then the relationship that we have with your wife is going to be completely different. We are so used to that here in Europe that when we come across people who have different wives, we're like, why'd you let this man doing that, or why'd you let? And then they explain we are
because
different.
we don't mind our own business.
You know what I mean? We are different. You guys basing your relationship on combat instead of seeing it as growing together and have a purpose. You guys combat.
Let me be honest with you. Before rejecting religion, I wanted to be a Muslim, because I would be allowed to have 4 wives.
I want 4 wives. Get your 4 wives, man.
Just remember, all of them got to have a diamond ring each.
Get your 4 wives, man.
No, I'm joking.
All right. We are advertising.
Sometimes
looking for 4 wives.
No, I'm joking. Sometimes one is enough. One is enough. I'm joking.
4 wives.
I got a question for us, right? The reason I say us, like, our guest is our sister. You're my brother, but I have a question for us. Do religions have anything to do with God? I repeat, do religion have anything to do with God? That's 1. And 2, are religion and spirituality the same?
No. That I can say that.
Okay, answer the first one first.
All right,
please.
Ukti, go on. I'll let you start.
Question for our guest.
Can you rephrase that again?
Okay, the first question is: do religions have anything to do with God?
So,
I'm sorry. Let me clarify. I mean, all those religions, right? All of them. Do they have really anything to do with God?
Not Buddhism. But
no,
you can say for
okay. So I can only speak on really Islam and just kind of from what I know, my knowledge. I'm not imam or sheikh or anything, but obviously
Sheikh Lamia,
first female sheikh, East London.
You know what I mean?
Because obviously the message was sent down by the angel to Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? You can, brother, if I get this wrong, just please, stop me. But it was the angels that sent down the message to Muhammad, peace be upon him, who that wrote it down. So yes, I do believe it came from God. But I also believe there has been changes. But then also, I believe society has changed as well, because previously people would just follow the word, where now it's just like people just follow how they want to follow. Nothing is how it is, but society has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And that's where the conflict is.
Okay. Brother Prince?
For me, if we follow the logic of every single religion, it is the message of God, right?
No. Not the message itself. I'm talking about religions. All of them. Do they have anything to do with God?
So this is my understanding, and if you're watching and you are a matcher, comment and correct us. But my perspective is that Abrahamic religion, so Judaism, whether it is Reform or Orthodox, same thing with Christianity, from Pentecostal all the way to Orthodox, right? Islam, whether it is, Shia Islam, Sunni, all the branches of Islam, they have all taught that the Holy Book has been given to them by God via different avenues, but this is God speaking.
Did God give them a religion? That's the point of my question. Did God give them a religion? Religion is man-made.
This is actually a really good.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think the name of the religions itself is man-made. Definitely. I feel like if you use Christianity, Judaism, Islam, whatever, I do think man has put stamp on it. Because when you look at religion, right, and you look at, so Christianity comes more from, the Mediterranean Spanish side, England. Then you have the North Africans, which obviously are Islam and the Middle East, etc. So if you look at the map, every country has its own religion. But then you need to go back as well to when religion did fall on the planet and how much war was done. If you go to the North Africa, some parts of North Africa, they didn't have Islam. It was spirituality. Even every country previous to that. So I do believe that religion has been man-made, because there are so many different religions, but yet there's only one creator.
Thank you. God gave us the message.
Now,
He gave us principles. He gave us a way to live. But God did not give us religion because He knew that would divide us.
many people would disagree with that. And I
But it's a
understand.
fact. It's a fact.
Many people will disagree with that because they will find proof in their own holy book that it is not man-made.
It is man-made. All religions are man-made. I can prove it.
But
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that a lot of people will. I know that people will disagree
I
with
think
that.
the names of the religion are man-made. I don't think religion itself, as in, because when you look at most scriptures, Christianity, Islam, a lot of them are very similar. And again, all it is to benefit us as a human being.
Yeah.
That's all it is. But unfortunately, human beings are so blind that they feel like it has to be a war on who's better, which is the ego, isn't it?
Do you know what Bible means as an acronym? Bible as an acronym. If you just put the word, it means basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Okay.
So it's a manual for you to be guided, and once you leave Earth,
Thank you.
you have another destiny.
Thank you.
That's what it's supposed to mean. Now, it became a religion. If you look at, for example, how Constantine chose Christianity at the time of his empire to ensure that everybody follows Christianity, to make sure that he could have power over his kingdom.
Okay.
That was used as a power move. You know what? We all going, instead of persecuting all the Christian, let's stop persecuting them and adopt the religion because everybody was ready to die for Christ. They say, you know what? I'm ready to die for Christ because of his message, right?
Okay.
When you saw that, you saw, you know what? We're gonna accept Christianity now, and that's how he made it.
The same thing with slavery.
Yeah, pretty much.
Black people, we didn't know anything about Christianity because it's not our culture, it's not our religion. If we want to talk about religion, let me finish. Let me finish.
On that one.
What? No, let me finish. But how they used to use religion. It's the same thing they're doing now. They're doing in churches and everywhere, right? If you don't if you don't pay your tithes, you're not going to heaven. If you don't give your offerings, you're not going to heaven.
Sounds like bribery.
It is. You have to pay for everything. Why do I have to pay you to go to heaven? Right? Second, so back in the days and in the time of slavery, right? Those same priests, Catholic priests, they used to go to Africa. And even in America, in the plantation, the slave masters, they had their own priests to come to pray with the slaves to tell them, you have to obey your master.
I actually visited a place once in Gambia, and it was called Cook's Islands, and it was where they took the slaves to this particular island before putting them on the ship and sending them out. And when I went there, they had like a little church there, and then they had like the little museum with all the chains they used and stuff. And it showed pictures of the slaves in chain and a pastor in front of them. So it is a form of slavery and it is a form of bribery. But they knew they were sending them out to the West and that they had to program them before sending them out.
Yeah. Obedience.
So you were saying that religion was
an instrument.
An instrument, but we need to understand that many religions.
I'm sorry.
In Ethiopia, for example, the Christianity that is taught over there has nothing to do with the European Christianity. Christianity was already in Ethiopia even prior to the enslavement of African. So they already had an idea of what God is or who Christ was. And then for the enslavement of African, Islam had already, we need to also make sure that we distinguish slavery and something that we call bondage. Something that we call like you are enslaved, but you keep your name, you keep your religion, you keep your culture.
What difference does that make?
So you are. It's like I said, it's a culture where you are going to offer your child or one of your wives. So you're going to work for that master for a certain amount of time, and that's going to bring money to the family because the family are poor. So you offer someone that's going to work for another master, but you don't lose your humanity. What the European did, and also unfortunately what Islam has done is, for example, for black men, they became eunuch. So I don't know if you know what a eunuch is a man whose gender have been severed. Yeah, so they become eunuch, and they did that to a lot of African. There is also a place from Africa in the desert where you could trace, because they would take African from West Africa all the way to Saudi Arabia sometimes, and you could trace.
Was that the name of God?
No, I don't think so.
It's not.
Well, but it wasn't the name.
What I'm trying to say is that the enslavement of human being was already a tradition that was there prior to those religions. People were servitude. That's the one I was looking for. The word I was looking for. You had a lot of servants You understand? When I went to Senegal, you have, it's normal to have servants. It's normal to have someone that come to your house and they cook and clean, and they're there. It's part
As
of the
long as you
culture.
can pay, you pay them.
You do
you
pay
treat them right.
Yeah.
You do pay them, but that was the case back then. It's just like European, they took it to another level.
But it's not just the Europeans, is
You know?
it? Let's look at places like Saudi Arabia, Qatar,
Yeah.
the Emirates, how they treat our brothers and sisters. Because we can speak about the Europeans, but there are other
Thank
places
you.
in the
I'm not
world
gonna
that
lie.
are.
When I saw during Ramadan, they wouldn't even give water to black sisters during Ramadan.
Let me tell you something, guys. There's so many reasons why I reject religion. I don't care if you're Muslim. I respect people. I respect religion. I have good friends that are Muslim, and I defend them. Right? That's what they choose to as their religion. I respect that. I defend them, and thank God. Sometimes they tell me good things that help me. Right? But I don't see it. I don't want to see it as something I get from someone because he's a Muslim.
But hang on a minute. Can I just say something? As a human being, do we actually need religion to be good to one another?
No.
Like,
No, we
really
don't.
and truly.
That's what
let's-
the atheist is gonna say.
Right. Yeah. And then it's like being a Muslim, and whatever religion you are, you come with a manual. We base the manuals on how to live. But why do we need a manual to actually tell us what's good for us and what's
Thank
not good
you.
for us?
Well, that's what Buddhism is about. Buddhism, they don't believe in God. They believe in your inner ability
Your
to
higher
be
self.
one, exactly, to
Yeah.
be one with your surrounding. You understand what I'm saying? So they believe in past lives. They believe that, karma. They believe in the nirvana. So the nirvana is the state of enlightenment that nobody can reach. So this is where I tapped in spirituality, because I know that there's a lot of people who are spiritual and they rather be one with themselves than being one with the idea that if I'm doing good, I'm going to go to heaven. They rather understand that it is important for me, for karma, to be a good person, to look into my heart, to look into my struggle, my trauma.
But
and
that's just
sort this out.
self-reflection, isn't it? Because when you have the ability to self-reflect, which I have done for a while, I've done it recently as well, just self-reflection of what can I do better for myself, for my family, for my neighbours, for my friends, what can I do better? Now, I believe in prayer works, but then there's that question again. Buddhism, fine, it's all about oneness and higher self and reaching that enlightenment within,
Exactly.
which is beautiful, regardless.
Okay.
But then it's like, in a lot of religions, like, they don't believe in past life. But then there's things that are like, you made contracts before you come to Earth.
Yeah.
And there's something I read, and I might be wrong, you might be able to correct me, but we made, I don't know how you say it, but maybe a pact or a contract with God to say before you come to Earth, you either come as an angel or you become as something else, or, you've had a past life and you come here again to do this life again, to clear your past life, to start a fresh state of mind. So I feel like it's all interconnected, because when you pray, you are reaching your higher self because you're listening to yourself. At that moment when you're praying for forgiveness and you're sitting there, you are essentially talking to your spirit as well as God.
Thank you. I like that.
Yeah.
I got another question for you guys. Can or do religions lead to God? I mean, leads to spirit? Can lead to spirituality, or do they really lead to spirituality?
I think God did kind of lead me to spirituality, because I feel like it's very similar, because some people would say spirituality is about working with the spirit world, but I don't feel that, because I feel that my spirit is within me, and I'm trying to work with my spirit to be a better person. The things that I do, I really try to make sure that it's good for my spirit, and it's not easy in this life. Nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not. I'm just striving to be better every day. But I do feel that we're like here to just make things better for ourselves and try not to repeat patterns and cycles that we've done throughout our lives that kind of hold us back.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you pray, you are trying to clear your path, clear your way, clear the darkness to the side. It doesn't matter what religion you're from. It is all about forgiveness, because ultimately that's what religion is.
Yeah.
But then we can ask for forgiveness, but how about are we saying I forgive myself? Because then if you don't ultimately forgive yourself, you're carrying a lot of pain and a lot of burden and a lot of guilt and a lot of shame. And then it's kind of like an addict, yeah? An addict that prays but goes back to the substance. He's forever trying to get forgiveness, but has he forgiven himself for the pain he's caused around?
That's it. Or himself.
I like that.
Or himself?
I think God lead more to spirituality than religion for me. That's my perspective. God will lead you to be spiritual more than religion. Religion will lead you to practice a religion, where God will lead you to a spiritual being, right? Now, not everybody is ready for that message. There's a lot of people that try to share with others their spiritual journey. And when they do that, they're faced with a massive wall. They're not ready to receive a message of almost a message of love. You know,
Yeah.
when you talk about spirituality, you talk about connection, and they're not ready to be connected
Yeah.
to each other or to the idea that we all want to be better. We all need to.
Yeah, of course. We all want the halo above our heads.
Exactly. You know.
And then there's that thing you just said, you know, like there's a lot of people out there that spread religion, but they do it in the wrong way. The shouting, the preaching, the screaming, the fear. How about we start doing it with love? Because love is much better than an anger and you're going to hell.
No, but you know, even with love, Jesus loves you. Okay. When you go to the church, Jesus loves you. Okay, that's gonna be 30 pound for you to give. You know, every.
Jesus love you, but you gotta pay.
You know, just a little bit you gotta pay. You know, which is fine. You know, I understand.
No, it's not.
But
It's not.
Look,
It's not. It's
why
not.
I think it's fine.
It's not.
If you give money for the building, for the lights, for maybe people that come and clean the churches,
Maintenance,
you know.
this is,
I got another
maintenance.
issue with that.
No.
I got another issue with it.
No.
Go ahead. No, I'm gonna
But
tell you.
I'm with you. I'm with
You
you.
know,
another
all
issue with it.
Because
for all of
he
that,
has a point.
I got an
Yeah,
issue with it.
it's okay, like to put into a church or mosque. It's a good thing because if you're serving the community, yes. But when the people that run it are feeding off
Thank
it
you.
and having big houses and cars, etc., and nice holidays with the family, I don't agree with it. A place of worship, regardless of what religion, it should be for the community, not for the people that run it.
Thank you very much.
well, if you go to the state, you go to those mega churches, and you've got those pastors.
They're
They have
scammers.
private jet.
They're
They
scammers.
have. You need to watch that show, Greenleaf.
And I curse
Watch
them.
this.
I curse them. Listen, I'm going to tell you my problem with those people asking me money in church. I'd rather give my money to those people begging than giving it in church. I'm going to tell you why. Let's say my mother, she used to sell Mark knows Haiti, right? My mom used to sell candies, right? So the money she used to make was never enough to feed us. But she had to make sure that she gives some of that profit to the church. Listen to this. You said the pastor, we need to give money to the church, the pastor. The pastor, he is in direct contact with God. God is the owner of this world. God has all the riches that we can even imagine. God is the richest thing or person, whatever you want to call it, that exists. He owns everything. He owns the world and the heavens. So the pastor tells you, you know what? I talk with the Holy Spirit. That motherfucker sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. Let's be real. That motherfucker, he is in contact with the Holy Spirit, with God, with Jesus. He had a vision last night. I had a vision last night. We have to give some money for the church. It's a scam. That's what I'm telling you. It's a scam. It's a scam because God knows what the church needs. You're taking money from the poor in the name of God. And God knows what the church needs, what his building needs, right? Why didn't you just give him the number for the lottery for tomorrow and tell the pastor, you know what, go play the lottery. That's where the money is. If God doesn't want to give him the money physically, go get the money in the lottery. That's where the money is.
Okay,
why do they have to take the money from the poor in the name of God? But those same people, the same pastor, if I'm lying, please call the police on me. Those same pastors, this same pastor, when they need money, they say, I had a vision last night. God tell me to ask you money because we need a new church. I need a new car. I need a private jet. But when those people, the churchgoers, when they need money, when they are in need, the preachers, the priests, tell them to pray harder.
I can understand your frustration with that because, I totally get that. But then that is always I have a question actually. Why do we need places of worship when God is everywhere?
Thank you.
To gather the masses.
No, that's another scam. That's where the money is. That's another scam. That same God we are searching for, the same God we are looking for, the same God we need in our life is already in there. We just don't know how to communicate with him. He tells us in the Bible, for those who believe in the Bible, I don't know what he says in the Quran. In the Bible, he says, when you need me, go inside your room, close your door, wash your hands, wash your face, get on your knees, call me. He didn't tell me to go to the pastor. Ask the pastor, tell the pastor I sent you to him. He didn't say that in the Bible. He said, go in your room, get on your knees, and pray me, call my name. Call on my name and I'll come to you. And further down he says, you are my temple. We are the church. Our body is the church. The church you're going to is a waste of time.
What's your view on it though when you say waste of time? Because like you say, it's a congregation. It's the masses.
You together the masses. That's more what it is. It has also been a place of protection during wars.
Of salvation.
That's what the offerings and the tithe is. That's where the money is. When you have 10, then you have 100 people there with $20 each or £20 each. You see how much money you get.
Okay, so let me turn this into a bit of a positive for you. For example, I know a few churches, and I know the pastors of these.
They're all scammers
from the local community. And the thing is, they do a lot of good. And I say this wholeheartedly because I've seen them. Yes, the pastor gets paid her wage, but they also provide.
God should be the one paying them. I'm sorry. God should be the one paying them, not us. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But then it's like this church. They do soup kitchens. They help the homeless. There's a place door open for someone who needs help. They've helped me at times when I've needed help. So I try to see the positives in it rather than the negatives because unfortunately there's always going to be scammers no matter what. But there are churches that are genuinely out there to serve the community. And I have one in my local community. They run loads of free things.
For example,
I'm sorry. There are individuals in those churches who are helping people generally, but not the church.
No, but Sikhism is part of their. They have kitchen.
Listen,
they give food just like that.
They give you the crap. I'm sorry. I grew up in church. My mom was Catholic. I grew up in Catholicism. Then, when I was 15 or 16, I got baptized in Adventism. There was a rich man. He used to go to church. I forgot his name. I think he died now. He was the only rich person in that same church. I remember I had a fever. I had a fever for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I couldn't go to church because we used to go to church on we used to go to pray and you know get together on Wednesday, Friday night for the Sabbath, then on Saturday, right? I couldn't go to church for 3 weeks. They didn't come to see me. And on one Saturday, the Richmond didn't come. The pastor, he had a delegation. He delegated some people to go see what happened to the Richmond, why he didn't come to church. Right? So my problem with those people in church, with those people in charge, is that they don't care about you if you cannot pay the tithe.
We do have a problem of money
and
worshiping.
the offering.
Yeah, we have a problem of money worshipping. That's evident in every religion. Not every religion, but in society itself.
Yeah.
The way we worship money is greater than anything else. You know, we worship money more than how men worship sexuality and things like that. You know,
But is that man or is that the government that's turned us this way? Because if we go back again in time, before people were worshipping money, etc., people were serving the communities from their heart. So again, in a way, there is obviously a lot of greed in the world today, but a lot of people are worshipping money so much because there's so much pressure on people as well. So you have to take into consideration the time again that we live in.
Yeah.
You know, people are not happy with the simplicities of life anymore as before. And yes, a lot of people want to have more and they'll do anything to get that more. But like I say, the church where I come from, in my area, they're amazing. They're so amazing. They help the homeless. The doors are always open. They are for the community. And I don't know many churches like this. And they provide so much for the children. They have free roller skating, free football and things like this. And they help the community. Now, I don't have a problem if it's a pastor who's like getting his money there, but he's helping the community. And he's not just drawing, because a lot of people will just take and take and take. If they're taking but helping the masses or the community, I think that's a positive thing.
I think most religions do. You know, we can't always see it as a negative aspect, because most religion, you will see it. You see during Ramadan. You see during, festival like Noel. How do you say Noel? Christmas. You see it during Christmas. We see it. I saw a lot of Sikh people giving food just like that, because it's part of their religion to give food.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works with Judaism, but I'm sure they, help their community. I'm sure they do. So we need also to be fair and have some sort of objectivity in how religion are helping. They could do more. They could do way more.
They could, but again, it's like the mosque, the churches, etc. They don't have enough people to do more. So that's another thing, isn't it? It's like people will go and worship, they'll go and pray, and they'll leave.
Yeah.
But then when you actually go into like a church or mosque, there's only like 2 or 3 people actually working in there.
Yeah.
There's not many people there, so they need more hands on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how.
And they help only during festivals.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not
I'm sorry.
all year long.
I'm sorry. This is where the hypocrisy is. You said, some priests and pastors and preachers, they help. I know there are some good people in some church, right? But you need to see it this way. Churches are like the government. The priest and the all of them, they're like the prime minister, the president, all those crooks, right? So at times they give a little something. Some of them are given it generally, but some of them they just do it for the media to show, to say, you know what, I'm doing something good. Like the politicians on Christmas, you see them on TV. This time we're gonna have a nice Christmas. I hope everybody's gonna be good. Everybody blah 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 blah. And then in the next interview, he said, you know what, this time we're gonna cut the allowance.
Yeah.
in the same breath.
That same group that told us, you know what, I hope we're gonna have a nice Christmas this year, and the next week you're gonna cut the allowance, for example.
Are you talking about the winter fuel payment?
You know, I didn't want to go there.
I'm going to join you, Isra. I'm going to join you there when there is connection between the government and the church, because just last week in France, in what we have, like the parliament that they have, they realized that the code black that was made by the church. What is the code black? Is a code. It was a book that explained how to treat black people and their worth. And they realized that to this day, that law has not been abolished. They still have it today. It means that in the French government, within their law, a black person, right? A black person can be treated as a commodity within their law. So, yes, I'm going to join you there and say, yes, it is true that, the way the certain religion work,
all of them
work.
All of them,
or,
folks,
some may work like the government in terms of how they use their power, but I'll go for the positive.
Because positive. What I'm trying to do,
has a positive impact on my life. I'm healthy because I move away for certain things. I do not agree. It's true. I'm not gonna lie. I've always had those disagreement in how we implement religion in our lives, and the thing that we're supposed to do. But we too often judging a religion by their worshippers. We don't judge the religion itself. We look at the worshippers and say, that's why I'm not going to be Christian. That's why I'm not going to be this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not going to be that. You understand?
You can be Christian without having an affiliation with a religion. Do you agree?
If you
that's what you see. That's the point. We don't need religion to know God.
No, we don't. I agree. I totally agree with you. You don't need religion to know God, but it's like, again, it's a manual, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's guidance. And as human beings, as human nature, if we don't do inner work, whether it's spiritually or religiously, we are lost. People act like animals sometimes, and sometimes the guidance needs to be. It's like a child, isn't it? If a child is doing something naughty, you're going to say to child, please don't do that because X, Y, and Z, this might happen to you.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like if my daughter's hanging off a cliff, I'm going to be like, no, don't do that because you will go down.
Exactly.
So it's guidance. It's like, children of God, whatever you want to call it, it's just guidance for us to make sure that we are balanced in this life.
Some get it without having religion. Some understand.
Yeah.
Because how they've been raised, they understand that you need to do good. But some people, that's why they come to religion, because they've never received this initial education where, you need to share. Just at the gym sometimes, you're at the gym, just sharing your weight is a big deal. I'm not. Share your weight, man. Why? Even this sometimes it's a difficult concept to share.
Thank you for clarifying.
I think it's so controversial as well.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like,
me personally, the reason why we don't need religion. Do you need me to raise your child to tell her what is good and what is bad?
But you have to.
Wait,
you have to raise your child.
You don't know me. You don't know me, right?
Oh yeah,
we're not friends.
Not.
We just
absolutely no. I do not need
exactly.
you. No.
So why you won't leave me with your child for 5 minutes because you don't know me.
No.
But you would leave your child with a priest.
No.
For a day.
No.
Thank you.
No.
If you're not gonna, if you
trust, let's say for example, your uncle is a massive sheikh, or your auntie, she's a priest in those Orthodox churches that allow female priests, and those are your family,
I don't.
or long time. If you know them for a long time, you might. But I think a mother wouldn't. I think a
No.
mother,
Okay.
she has her motherly instincts.
attachment and
You know, it's going to be
instinct.
difficult to give a
Okay.
child.
The
That's
point,
true.
the point I'm trying, the reason why I asked you that question, you said we need guidance.
Yes.
The guidance we need them from our parents. Your children, they don't need church. They don't need religion.
No, that's true.
They need you.
guidance.
How you gonna guide them? You see your son? If you let him just go to church, the pastor gonna tell you what to do. He will never be a good man. I am a good man because my mom taught me good. I'm not a good man because church, because I had the chance to see that they are all crooks.
But then, isn't it my job as a mum to have my guidance from God and implement it into our daily lives, for example? And it's like the smallest things that you can implement.
Okay. Now, how are you gonna get? Yes, it's your job to get that guidance from God, but how?
Well, through experience, I guess.
I have life experience and
it's
like
a struggle.
I guess in a way, my life experience on this planet has been what's so quite crazy, and I've learned a lot. And through my lessons, I now guide my children.
Yeah.
And I advise
God
my
protection
children.
as well.
And I always say God's protection.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Did your mom use religion?
No.
Or she used her knowledge of life? Thank you. Thank you. Religion is just telling us what to do.
Yes, it
But
does.
it's to control us.
Yeah.
Because they don't want us to go against the matrix.
Of course they don't want us to go against the matrix, of course. But then again, religion is, again, a guidance, and we can choose what we want to take from it.
Yeah.
Like, for example, don't drink alcohol. Again, is the reason. It's going to harm our bodies. It's a poison. It opens a door to a portal. Don't smoke. Don't have sex before marriage because you can spread all kinds of fitna and disease or whatever.
True.
There's so many things that we can take.
Look, it's true.
I know someone who got AIDS. She was Adventist. They got AIDS. They had AIDS. She never had sex before marriage.
Listen, I understand that religion is a commodity. You can.
It's a big scam.
It's a commodity. I am, subscribing to that religion. I don't like it. I'm going to go to that religion now. I don't like it. You know what? I no longer want to be with that religion.
Will.
I'm going to go to there.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, in certain religions, so in Islam, for example, if you leave the religion, it's called apostasy. So it means that if you are leaving the religion, there should be like a trial, but usually if you leave the religion,
yeah,
boom,
that's it.
Right?
You are out.
You are out. But in the West, you have the chance to be, if I want to be Hindu, I can choose. It becomes like, a market. Today I'm going to be this because I think it's interesting. The new waves in religion, spirituality, crystals and stuff like that. I'm into that. If I don't feel comfortable with this, I can go to that one.
And can I ask you, with that, isn't that a part of having free will and finding what suits you? Because remember, every person on the planet is a unique individual being.
Thank you.
Now, what sits with you may not sit with me, may not sit with him, and so forth. So I do know people that have gone from religion to religion. They're trying to find what sits with them, what resonates with themselves and their soul. So, I personally don't see nothing wrong with it. I'm all
But you
about
can
free
only
will.
do this. I don't think you can do that in certain countries.
No.
You can do that in Europe, but I don't think if you are in Saudi Arabia, if you are...
no, because it's a set religion there.
Yeah.
Where in the West, there is no set anything anymore. The West is we're completely mixed. So there is so much opportunity to obtain so much different knowledge. I know a guy who's read the Bhagavad Gita, I think is how you say it, the Quran, the Bible. He's done it all. Yeah. And he wanted to seek truth in all of them.
Yeah.
And then in the end of them, he didn't even choose a religion. What he gained was knowledge.
That's it. That's it.
So sometimes it's about the knowledge as well, but in the West, in England and the West, wherever we're lucky enough to have, I call it a box of chocolates. You
Yeah.
know, you can seek what you need to seek.
Exactly.
But if you're born in a particular country with a set religion, you're not given the free will. You are what you are. Simple as that.
That's it. That's it.
Should we be given the free will, or should we know
We have
ourselves enough to say, you know what?
We need to have free will.
In this day and age, we need to have free will.
We need to have free will.
I mean, free will, does it have to be given?
You have no choice.
Does it have to be given? No, it shouldn't be given. It should just be free will.
Yeah, that's it.
But unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that are not allowed to have the free will because they're scared to have the free will. Again, it comes under fear. It's like if I decided to become a different religion tomorrow, then I would be like, oh, I have got no free will because I come from this culture, that culture.
I don't think children should have free will as well. Children should, have free will when they are capable of using that free will for their own good benefits.
Yeah.
I think
when they're over 30.
when they're young,
they need structure.
So we're back. Sorry, guys. Now we are having a good conversation. And unfortunately, we have only 5 more minutes, 3 more minutes left. But I have one last question for you. Is there a true religion?
If you ask a Muslim person, going to be the true religion is Islam. If you ask a Christian, you're going to say everyone that is a fervent believer in his religion will see this is the truth, and there is none other than the truth.
I've got to agree with my brother. It's true because every religion and all the wars going on around the world is because everyone believes their religion is the true religion.
Yeah.
But we will only know when the end of times comes what is the truth.
It was 509 Talk and Chill today with our sister Lamia and my blood of praise, and my name is Haitian Mike. That was part 1, religion, spirituality, and atheism. And next time for part 2, stay tuned for part 2. We're going to have a part 2 soon. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Peace.